Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 for Wednesday, November 3rd, 2021. Well, the Fed came, they met, they saw, they reported. The market loved it. And it performed basically in line with exactly what I thought it would do yesterday, leaving open that possibility that the market would receive it very favorably. And what it would do is run up to one resistance point, drop back down, and then run up to the second one, which I thought had a very fair chance of completing it. That did occur, but it exceeded it. And so what I've now done is I've taken a step back, reevaluated how I had counted it out all the way, even though yesterday I said I was satisfied with it. Today forced me to go back and look at it again, simply because of the degree of which I was counting, that the moves were becoming too big for the degree. So I had to go and reset what I believe is happening. I am still counting a primary, excuse me, an intermediate B wave, which is irregular. So that part I'm still holding to, but I've just reorganized and relabeled the C wave thus far. And I think it clears up a lot of things and also just opens up the possibilities to be where we are and still continue to view that there is still additional upside yet to come. Now, what you want to base it on, I don't care. I can only tell you what I'm seeing in the way of the Elliott wave. So I'm not basing this on, well, the Fed this, the Fed that, interest rates and all that. That does have a play, but obviously the market's going to have its own interpretation and somebody else is going to have theirs. So I have to go on what the emotional responses are telling me via Elliott wave and Fibonacci. So I rearranged and recounted out the move. It doesn't really change anything except it pushes the degree into a form that is really going to fit cleaner than the small, minute levels that I was counting on. So we are still in a minor C wave, and that minor C wave will have 5 waves of minute degree. Here's what I now think we just completed today. Before I had counted that we were likely in minute wave 5, and within that, within the sub-minute wave 5, et cetera, except it wasn't a 5. So the minute, the sub-minute count also got adjusted and shows that what I was thinking was the sub-minute 4 still is, but the sub-minute 5 just completed minute 3. So we have minute wave 1, 2, and then this subdivides the 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that is of minute 3. Now, it came very close to, it's a high so far as 45.75. It may go up and it might touch that 618, which is 167. Or it could even, it can continue to move higher and the 3 just kind of gets moved up. This launch that it did, was just like, it felt as if the buyers were moving in and buying up in a black hole, because it would just go and everything would disappear and it just push up higher. And then it was almost like they were reaching, because there were no offers up there. I mean, I'm sure there were some that there were people just randomly throwing out or people taking profits or whatever, but that seemed the only way they were going to get these orders filled. So up above 16,000, it just flew up very, very freely as the hunt for futures came into play. And that's because they were buying the individual component stocks, and they were buying them, well, not as strong as you would think, but again, pushing a lot of stocks into territory that it's never been in, and then who wants to sell it or for what reason? So there's a lot of things that go on when you get into uncharted waters. But here we are. And what I'm feeling is that we're just completing that 3rd wave. So, well, let me just kind of go from this level, see how much I can get on computer. Of course, it does not do it the way I want to. So just go to the 30-minute. Thank you. And then we'll just go in this. I really need to show more, but I'll just start here because I want to see how, you'll see how this kind of just blasted higher. And then it just was not willing to stop. This is a 30-minute chart. So that's 1 hour, 2 hours, So just from the time of the announcement came until the close, it just relentlessly marched higher. But then it got super slow, but nobody was stepping in to sell it. Nobody would sell it. And you're seeing it again. If you're looking to buy futures, it's going to be very difficult because no one wants to sell it. And I think partially because people see it's a short squeeze. Short squeezes can go on for a very long time. And it would be in a rough position to be closed out of a larger position that you're short in up here. But it's going to happen. And so now it just produces a different emotion. So until we see sellers show up, for whatever their reason might be, they haven't come in yet and they've not found that reason. So therefore, we must continue to look for and expect upside. So as long as this is going on, I have to also say, I don't know what's going to draw the market lower. We have a couple of numbers tomorrow. We have the employment, we have unemployment or filings tomorrow, jobless claims tomorrow. And then we have on Friday, the employment situation. That's the only major factor out there that may just rush them a little bit quicker into, changing their minds and how quickly they're going to taper or raise rates. Although they seem to be pretty nonchalant about, oh yeah, well, maybe we'll start doing this by December, tapering by December, maybe we'll raise rates in 2022. So to me, that's hanging on to what? I'm not sure, but that's what caused that massive buying spree, because they keep throwing the dates that they're going to start doing things out into the future. So why not? The market continues in what it's doing because money is cheap, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of that stimulus money or programs are being also tapered or taken out of circulation, they won't be available anymore. So a lot of that cheap money is going to go because it's not going to be available. So how this all plays out, again, is just going to be how I see it in terms of the Fibonacci. So right now, if I'm considering that this is only the minute 3, again, of the minor C wave, then we still have a 4th wave correction. And that's what these are. Now, these are for the upside, but I can put in some corresponding numbers for a 4th wave. And if the 4th wave here comes into play and it goes to the 4th wave of 1 lesser degree, guess what? That's all the way down here. I don't think that's here, unless they're saying, and maybe it is, because we can't find the seller and they brought it down from 45 to 22 or whatever this low is, 22. And that's all you get, then folks, and you can see they're already doing it. They're 4 points away from that high, and somebody needs to have these futures. They need to get flat. And now we're in a very, very unusual and tight spot. We don't have sellers. And there are many reasons why. I'll tell you, that's one reason I stay as a day trader, because I don't carry positions overnight, so I'm not ever going to get stuck in this position. But as a day trader, how do I want to play it? So if it continues for tomorrow, again, not knowing, well, we're going to wait and see. We also have an expiration coming into Friday. And one thing that I did notice today that does contribute to this market and this future was Tesla. Tesla was basically down all day. And then suddenly within that last push, Tesla decided to go up, and then it went up $40. So that just added shoveling fuel, because it was back above 1,200. And we know that probably for this Friday, they're looking to do 1,300. So we got that in play again. So we have a lot of things that are going to push the market. So we need to take this day by day. And we also need to take it smartly so that we can trade during the day. Obviously, if this is still going to be a squeeze, all you got to do is you got to try to buy in front of everybody and offer it out. That's how we would be doing our service to providing liquidity and also value to the market. We might say that. And plus, it's the only way that I think I would ever sell. I don't see a lot of opportunities to sell because, again, we're in aftermarket and this is just the very beginning of fallback. So we don't have a lot of players out there. But if the United States is stuck in this position, I mean, US traders, we're stuck in that we need to buy, we don't need to sell. Could produce a really interesting squeeze. So tomorrow, here's our resistance, 16,167, then 16,223. So that 223 or the 220 level that remains, it's still up there, but it can go beyond. And if it does, you have 275 and then 413, and that's 100%. And then we'd have to add some additional levels. And I can basically start to do that, but I don't think they're going to come in this high. So let's go back out to the 4-hour chart and we'll take a look here how we can get this put into place. I still need one more. I need that B wave so that I can run the next extension, which will go from the bottom of minute 2 to the top of minute 3, and then down to that low. And if it goes up and starts making new highs here, then maybe 3 is just continuing within this last move. So I'd have to wait because it would project astronomical levels to me if we took it from here to that top of what, well, they're already starting to do it. So here we are, back down to the hourly chart. So again, they're already now making additional new highs, 45.75, and now they just tipped it up to 46.50. And that's just looking for futures. Let me just see. Let's just put that out. We can see what kind of size is trading out here. And they are finding some, right? But they're all one lots. And if they have to turn around and to start buying it, then you got to go to the offer. You know, it's going to be difficult. In any case, here we go. So I think for tomorrow, I'd be very, very cautious. Of course, our moving averages, they're going to tell us the same story. It's like buy it. That was the other reason why it's like, you're not going to sell. I'm not going to sell into these moving averages on an hourly chart, which are pointing straight up. All we now need is the 200 to just really start to point this way. And it's like, this market will continue to fly. So I'm not abandoning the count. That is not what I'm doing, but I am taking it down to a day-by-day basis and trying to keep the structure in terms of the degrees more in line so that it fits cleaner. And that means that going back and redoing previous counts. And I'll keep doing that. And for right now, I'm looking for the top to put into place. I'm looking for a turn. But I'm not going to sell in advance of getting a clear signal that that's what's taking place. So let's trade smart. Let's trade what we can do tomorrow. And the next update will be Thursday, November 4th.